All right. Good morning, everybody. Joe Van Doren here, and welcome to our Virtues Pick for today. I'm very excited because the word that came up for us today is one that I have we've had on the weekends when there's no discussion about it, but it's certainly one that's really important to all of us, whether we're parents or not parents. And I think it has a great effect on our lives today, especially. So let's take a look at it. That word is independence. And I must say, although the picture is very pretty, it's reading the words is a little difficult, so I might have to change that one out. But so let's see. Let's read the description first, and then we'll see where it goes from there. So independence is confident self-reliance. We have the courage to see reality with our own eyes and not through the eyes of others. We dare to be our true selves. We make decisions without undue influence from others. We responsibly care for ourselves. We enjoy intimacy without enmeshment. We do not depend on another to define our value or lose ourselves to love. We bring ourselves fully to a relationship, yet honor the boundaries that protect each other's dignity. We stand on our own holy ground. Oh boy. So, my goodness. I mean, we could talk about this in like a lot of different directions, but I will just say, let me start with this. When I first got this, I was thinking about a couple of kids that I know that I started training when they were very, very young. And now they're, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 years old. A number of them that I'm thinking about that I've seen their parents or seen them just recently. And so they have come under a great deal of pressure in their classes that they have both in school and in college to think a certain way. And that's not the things that they believed. And I am so happy to say that they've had the courage to step up and demonstrate that independence and say, this is what I believe or this is how I see things. And whether they're right or wrong, I don't, it really doesn't matter to me because what we're really talking about here is that courage to be independent, to be true to ourselves, to not be influenced by other people's way of thinking just because it's a popular thing to do or just because we feel afraid of being canceled or bullied or picked on or whatever it might be. And so, we want that kind of independence for our kids. And we want it for ourselves to be able to think and say and do what we believe without having that kind of, that other kind of pressure on us. And so, when I think about independence today, I'm thinking about how am I being, and I'll just say, the thoughts about the kids and what they did came to mind because that was just a recent experience of mine. What I'm thinking about for myself personally, though, today is how am I enjoying my intimate relationships, my family relationships, my friendships with those outside of the family? Am I independent with those so that I'm not defining my worthiness or my dignity to how that person feels about me? Or am I looking at my behaviors and trying to determine whether this is something that's going to be pleasing? And as with every virtue, there's a balance, because obviously I want to be friendly, I want to be courteous, I want to be helpful, I want to do all of those things and more. But at the same time, I also have to recognize my own value and my own worthiness and my own and relationship with myself so that I honor not only the other person, but I honor myself and the boundaries that I set for myself. And so, independence is just a great virtue when it's held in balance with others, with other virtues, that is. And so when I think about it from a parenting point of view, our kids get to that certain age, whatever it is, 2, 3, 4, in that range anyway, where they're beginning to be to exercise their own independence. And then as they get older and they get closer into that preteen and teen age, they're truly trying to figure out who they are, and they're trying to figure out, what they believe and what they care about the most. And they try to push those boundaries on parents, sometimes beyond what parents are willing to have. And so, this is all about that whole balance thing. And when we go back to the 4 C's of successful families, it's about clarifying ahead of time exactly what's most important to the family and what they believe how the virtues are going to be demonstrated in their family. Let me give you an example. Every kid has this idea, and by the time they're 11 or 12 years old, they're already have decided that they're going to be driving at the age of whatever is legal in your state. And many times they've decided who's going to be in the car with them and what they're going to do and where they're going to go and how they're going to act. And so they have this whole story that they've begun to develop with themselves. And so this is where that clarity and communication and consistency all comes in. Long time ago, long before any of the state rules that were in place, I was thinking about this when my kids were young, and my oldest is 42, almost 43. And so at a very early age, I would say 8, 7, 8, some 9, whatever. I began saying to them, when you get your driver's license, the rules are going to be this, this, and this. And later, by the time my youngest one got his license, those were those state rules. But nonetheless, why I did that was because I knew that once they tell themselves the story about what they're going to do and how they're going to act in the car and what they're going to drive and all those things, it becomes much more difficult to change their attitude about that or change their beliefs or what they're, how they feel about it. So independence is so important for them. But at the same time, when we have clarity as a parent, we can honor the independence, and also have be very clear about what our boundaries are. And that is the key to helping them to grow in independence, not being, at least in this part of it, with our family relationships. So there's so much more to this subject, though, in helping our children to become independent. Are we setting them up so that they never face any hardships? Are we putting things out of the way? Are we stepping in and solving their problems? Are we those helicopter parents, that are always right there to take care of everything and not allowing them the opportunity to demonstrate their own virtues and to strengthen their virtues so that they can be independent? So, oh my goodness, there's so much to talk about. I'm going to make myself a note because this is a subject I think that we need to do a little bit more in depth on, and maybe even create a class for, on developing independence in our kids, which includes things like confidence, right? And competence. And it includes having courage, and it includes the resilience, and it includes honoring ourselves, and it talks about setting boundaries. All of those things are important as we develop this virtue in our children, and really in ourselves too. So that's what I'm thinking about today with this virtue. And today I will really focus on just meditating on and reflecting on how am I being especially with family members. Am I balancing my independence with being helpful and being kind and being there as a faithful mate, or am I using my independence in a way that, could be very destructive? So that's my thoughts. All right. Thank you very much for being here. And we look forward to our virtues pick for tomorrow. And until next time, keep practicing the virtues and the 4 C's of successful families. And that is clarity, communication, consistency, and community. Until next time. Bye.